it's time. So I'm Chef Jessica. Welcome. This is the New Student Success Workshop, week 3. I will kind of touch base though on a lot of the stuff I covered in week 1 so you guys can get a good understanding of everything Escoffier dashboard related, really, and where to submit your assignments and everything, going through that. Lindsay is here with us. She is another tutor as well. And so she'll be kind of manning that chat. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in there. Unmute yourself. There's only a few of us in here. So, I mean, if you have questions, please ask away, because that's kind of what this is for, is to help you guys. And if there's only a few of you that showed up, you just get to ask more questions. So good stuff here. I am going to share my screen, kind of get started. So you should be able to see my screen at this point. My screen looks a little different than yours, but don't worry about that. I think I changed it. Anyway, so I just jumped into a CU 101 class. You all are probably with different instructors and teachers. So it might look a little different than what your actual class looks like, or if you're in PA 103, you know, similar in nature. They're all set up the same. Some of the graphics are a little different. Lessons are a little different, but it's the same material, same exact setup. So just to kind of refresh for some of you that I know have not attended one of our previous weeks, I am going to just kind of go through and click on some buttons of everything on this dashboard. So looking at it, if you look to your top right corner, this is where you'll see your name. You can click on this to get to this drop down. And actually, I did want to show this. I did not show this previously. To edit your profile, you would actually, so you can go to your profile. I'll just click in mine. And you can do whatever you want with this. Edit profile, you can edit your settings. So here, this little gear sign would be your settings. And this is just where you can kind of tailor it more or less to whatever you want to do with it. Different settings, uploading your picture. I'm gonna go to edit profile. Over here, again, description. I know some of you were curious, like, how do you put a picture in here? You know, I uploaded it. I have yet to be able to figure out how to turn it. So that's a whole different game. So I'm sideways, but I look the same. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking to edit it, editing anything going on with your student profile, where you're at, what you're looking through, everything's in here. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of cover that real quick. But I am going to jump back into where I was at. Again, this does not look the same for you guys, so I apologize. We'll go to Chef Brown. Awesome. Okay. So again, kind of clicking through different buttons. We have this right side. If you scroll down in your class page, you will see your chef instructor here. Their office hours will be posted as well. Along with these office hours, you will be able to find their contact information, their email, their phone number, which is very useful information. If you joined late, welcome. Feel free to stop me if you have questions. There's only a few of us here tonight, which is not a bad thing. It just means more extra time for you guys to ask questions if you need it. So if you joined late, just know that, and I'm Chef Jessica. Let's see, what else? So on the dashboard, looking at our class page, all this top stuff, if you click on this Help Center, or alternatively, this little Help button in the bottom right, that will take you to the Escoffier main website. And this is where you can find a lot of just useful, frequently asked questions. How do you get a Chromebook, financial aid, how to submit an assignment, how to use the discussion forum, sharing links. I mean, any question you might be having, somebody's probably asked before, and it's in here. So, and our tech support number is a big one, which is actually on your dashboard page, jumping back to it, at the very bottom while I'm pointing this out. So if you're having any issues with either the dashboard or logging in, or even like Google Drive stuff, tech support is there to help. I think they work 24/7. So you can, maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of hours. pretty much anytime you can think of, you should be able to get in touch with somebody there. And so you know that. Let's scroll back to the top, just kind of covering our bases here. If we hit this little paper pin clip, push pin, that makes that go away. I personally like it out. I don't know why. It's just maybe the way my brain works. So just so you know, that's there. Same thing on the other side. If you hit these 3 lines up here at the top, that makes this go away. Or you can hit that and make it come back. See, I like them out. I don't know why. Anyway, finding your grades, you can click grades. It's one spot over here on the left. That's huge. I know a lot of people don't know how to find their grades right away. You got to be able to get into your grades. I don't think I'll have anything because I didn't really do anything. Yep, I have a bunch of zeros. But when you see your grade, when you submit it, you'll see your grade posted here, and you actually should be able to click on it and see the feedback of what your chef instructor said about whatever we were doing. Back to your class. So you can hit this button to get back to your class. I know this recent drop down is a great way to find that class too, because you're probably only in 1 or 2 ever at one time. So that recent section, great place to jump into as well. Another point that most people don't realize. So if you click into, I don't know, let's just kind of click in here. You can click into things, like let's just click into lesson week 1. And at the very top, you see all these red highlighted links. That just gets you back to whatever page you were on. So this would get me back to the main page for Chef Brown. Or Chef Kelly, I believe she likes to go by. But anyway, let's see, covering some of the basis again. Start here section, this drop down will give you your syllabus. Your syllabus is like the bread and butter of your course. It literally will tell you what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to turn it in. This syllabus here will tell you everything that's expected of you. If you have not read your syllabus yet, read it, print it off, memorize it, get to know it. I can go off on a tangent about that for hours because I will go off on a mini tangent. So when I started college the first time I started college, I did not know there was a syllabus.
I know, I hear you.
I did not know that was a thing. And so I think maybe 2 months into my first class, being a freshman in college, somebody was like, well, did you check your syllabus to see when it was due? And I was like, huh? What's a syllabus? And then
I know, I hear you.
Seriously. And so like 2 months into my first semester in college, I found my syllabus for all my classes. And I'm like, well, if I would have known this from the start, it would have been much easier. Now, granted, that was my own problem, definitely, because the teacher definitely showed us the syllabus and I just was not paying attention. But that is definitely a freshman mistake, if you will. So don't make that same mistake. Your syllabus is great. It's always right there. Another major thing to point out to you guys is they would not be putting these up here with a link to click on it if they didn't want you to click into it. It would not be on your page if they didn't want you to kind of explore further. So anything you see up here, click into, see what it's all about. I mean, that is honestly the way I personally have learned all technology, is just clicking into stuff and then kind of working our way through. If you click into something and you don't want to go there, you can just hit the back button. You can always go back to this top, hit back to your main page where your class is, and get right back to where you were. Anyway, that's a whole different tangent, but let's see. Got our online tutoring. This I am going to open up because this is huge. Online tutoring, that's how you find me and Lindsay to book a one-on-one session. You would click here. This is in your time zone, just so you know, you don't ever have to do time zone math, which is great. All of our workshops are listed right here, the times, dates, everything. All the Zoom links to join all of our workshops, whether you need help with math or Google Drive or submitting your assignment, costing, any writing, anything you can think of, we have a workshop for pretty much. And we do record these all and put them in here for you to go back and look through them and watch them in your own time, which is really nice, especially when you're getting into some of that you know, deeper, I think math, reading, things that you just don't understand as well. It's really nice to be able to go back and watch those recordings. And some extra resources. We have some Quizlets, some math flashcards, Kahoot games, all that fun stuff. If you're dyslexic, or even if you're not dyslexic and you just need reading help, this natural readers thing is great. It basically reads the text to you if you're struggling with reading and comprehension. Everyone just learns differently. It's not a bad thing. So that is there for you as well. I am going to jump back to our class page. So we got our class page, again, your shopping list. I hope you found that by now because we are in week 3. Scrolling through basically everything for your class. And I'm just going to jump to week 3 because that's where you guys are at right now. Again, they would not be posting these if you did not want to click into them. So your learn section is your reading material, your research material, your videos to watch for your assignments for what you need to make. Your live sessions, I'm sure, I hope so, you have figured that out by now. That's where you join your chef instructor to go to your class. Again, the archives if you can't make the live. Now this, I do want to touch on some. The discussion forums is new this week. So if you have not submitted that yet, you need to. It's due tomorrow. Big red flag there. But if you go into it, it'll say like week 3 sanitation mistakes video. If we click into that video and I don't know why I went to the bottom, but we go to up here to the top, it will show, well, here's our video. So it literally tells you, walks you through. For this discussion forum, you need to reference this video. Here's your video. So you will have to watch the video. And then you basically just answer these questions. What is the worst sanitation mistake the student makes while preparing dinner? Explain why it is important to avoid the sanitation mistake and why you think it is the worst. That is all it's asking. So you would go down and you would, oh, I'm not a member of the group. Well, that's sad. Anyway, I'm going to see, sorry, I'm going to switch back to my normal role and see if that helps. Okay. So add initial post. I think it'll say something like add post, add initial post. Click on that and you just fill it in. So subject would be like, you know, sanitation mistake video discussion forum or whatever you want to title it, your subject. Your message, this is just, again, where you're going to type your few paragraphs, few sentences between what you're thinking here. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not answering for you. But that is just basically the gist. And then you hit post forum. And this posts it to the discussion board. And I don't know if it's on here. Yes, it is. Okay. So after you post your post, you will also have to comment in at least 2 classmates' posts with feedback. So again, and I'm not sure how much of these you can see, but you should be able to get into what, you know, see all of your classmates, some of those discussion forums posted. I'm just going to click this. Oops. See, we don't want that. Too far. Go back. Replies. There it is. So this is just showing you some of those replies on it. Basically, you need to post your own, and you also need to comment on 2 people's to get full credit. Always check your grammar, always check your spelling before you actually hit that post button. That's never a bad thing. This is just an easy way to get points. This is an easy way to lose points for not doing it. And it's pretty simple. And I mean, I think it's simple, but I guess I'm also the one talking right now. So does anyone have any questions? I'm going to stop it real quick right here on the discussion forum and posting on your discussion board. How are we feeling with that?
I kind of missed what you guys were saying. My computer disconnected. I was trying to connect my headphones. So I kind of missed everything up until me introducing myself at the finale.
Okay, definitely. I was just kind of going through the discussion or the dashboard and just showing you different areas in the dashboard, different things to click. where to find your class, your assignment. Well, we haven't even got to the assignments yet, but you didn't miss a whole lot. Just kind of clicking your grades, things like that. Does everyone feel good with the discussion forum and posting for their discussion forum, or have already? If you haven't, you understand you need to by tomorrow night. Big deal. I believe these are almost, I think every other week. They keep changing your curriculum on me. Last I checked, it was every other week. You would have a discussion forum, and it's always something different. I think one of them was like, what's your favorite ingredient to cook with? And then you just kind of type about it. And it's really just a way to kind of break it down. It's a way that your chef and Escoffier in general is using that discussion forum platform because you're not in person and because you're not with each other. So if you were, let's say we were all together in a kitchen right now, making stuff together, you would kind of somewhat know other people's responses on like what they like, what they don't like, you know, different mistakes, things like that. So this is just a way to kind of interact with your fellow classmates while still learning some culinary principles for the most part. But let me jump back. I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see. So that covers discussion forum. Let's jump back to that class page. Kiva, that's kind of what I was saying too. These red marks up here are great ways to jump back to wherever you were at. Grades are on the side. Those are huge. Your calendar, I love this one. You can use this calendar as much as you want to. I mean, this is literally your calendar, new event here, and you can do whatever you want with it. Like, I don't know, workshop, because that's what I'm doing with my life on Wednesday. And you can literally schedule this. So, I mean, I would encourage you to use this calendar as much as you want to, as little as you want to. If you're not using this calendar, anyway, I'm gonna get way in the weeds trying to figure out how to do that. But anyway, you basically create your new event, your new thing. I would do this with your, and I think some of them are already in there when your assignments are due, because we have our week 5s. Anyway, so that is huge. Something to just note, this calendar is a great tool, a great resource to use that you have at your disposal. Another thing to note, this little gear thing, turn editing on. I've never hit that before. See, I'm learning as we go too. But all these things you can kind of click through and just kind of mess with and see what it does. I mean,
Lower it down there. I just let it sit with the stir.
so looking back, let's get to that week 3. So we touched base on that discussion forum, your mistakes video, your knowledge check. This is your quiz. This is your test, basically going over the material that you were supposed to read, going over, I'm sure some of the stuff that your chef instructor talked about in lecture as well is in your knowledge check. So always make sure you're doing those. I'm going to click into it. You get 3 attempts. Use all 3. Unless you're getting 100%, there is no reason not to use all 3 attempts. That is just silly. So use those. Take your time on them. It's not a race by any means. Jumping back to our week 3. Now that we know our knowledge checks, I hope you have some of those done. The week 3 grains and legumes, if you click on this first one, that is where you go to find everything you need to submit your assignment and how to submit your assignment. So let's click into there. This will list every single picture you need for each item. So if you have numerous items, it will show you each specific item that you need. And you basically want to make sure you have all of these off your checklist, your copy of your narrative or your pastry production notes. If you're on the pastry side, you basically click that, you make a copy, it automatically puts it into your Google Drive, and you basically fill it out, make sure it's in the correct week folder in your Google Drive. And then to add a submission, because I am not a student, your add submission button would be right here. So you would just click add submission. I'm gonna see if I can switch my role, if it'll let me do it or not. It doesn't, because I'm still not in this class. Isabel, you have a question?
Yes, pretty simple, probably. I mean, anybody who knows how to use a computer would, on where you say like on the calendar and also this part right here where the narrated sheet and where it tells you what they want for the assignment.
Yeah.
Okay, like if I wanted to reflect back on it, usually I like to print that out so that I have it when I'm gonna do it, but I can't figure out how to print it. Because it doesn't have a print up here. So I mean, how do I do that? Do I right click somehow somewhere on my computer so I can print
So
that out?
you could right click and hit print, and this would pull up like your
Okay.
printer. Now granted, this
Yeah,
would
'cause
just print out. I wouldn't recommend that. That would just print out the screen of your like web browser. So what I would do, because I'm totally on the same page, I love paper and like hard copies of things. I hate
Okay.
textbooks online and reading online, and no, give me the hard copy. I'm with you. Yeah, I would do this. I would take this, highlight this entire thing,
Okay.
and then just hit copy. And then I would honestly, let me see if I have one open. I don't. I would honestly just jump into my Google Drive. Maybe. I don't want a new folder. Oh, it's because I'm in this weird section. Sorry, I was so not prepared for that. But I would just make a new like document, so Google Docs. And then I would just paste it. Like,
Okay.
so it basically just takes that entire thing from that website and puts it on a Google Doc. And then I would print this. That's how I would do it.
Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't, I'm new at all this.
If you want to, what I do is I do Control P, and it will automatically bring you to the print command, and you just print the first page. That's what I do because I'm like you.
Okay.
Control P. Control P as Papa.
Control P is print. Yeah. So if you do Control P, that'll just print whatever page you got. But you could definitely do it that way and just edit like your page view. Now I'm kind of curious what the page view looks like, because I've never tried to just print it. It does kind of, you're right, it does put it in the right format. That's actually really surprising. So that would work too.
I'm like you guys. I like to have my page to know what pictures I have to do and everything. So I figured that was the best way. So that's what I do. I do Control P and just print the first page.
Definitely. That's a great workaround. I mean, yeah, whatever makes your life easier and makes sense to you, do it. I mean, it doesn't matter if anyone else is. If it's working for you, keep it going. Definitely. So that is where you actually, and I kind of jumped out of it. That's where you would upload your assignment. That is where you upload or you're pasting your Google Drive folder into this week 3 grains and legumes. At the very bottom, it'll say add submission or edit submission if you're going to go resubmit it. If you've already submitted one, apparently because I'm a chef here, they aren't going to allow me to submit something. So mine is blank there, but it's at the very bottom. Your rubric, this weekly rubric, I just want to click in here. This again is like the syllabus. This is your bread and butter. This tells you if you're like, why'd I miss 5 points? I shouldn't have missed 5 points. This is not cool. This will more than likely tell you why they knocked you off 5 points and what you did wrong. So if you are ever curious without just reading your chef's feedback, that rubric will tell you exactly what you need to do, exactly how you need to have each thing to get all of your points. I, again, really hope you figured this out by now, being in week 3, but this is also where you will find your recipes. If you have not found your recipes yet, I think you need to message me or Lindsay, because we're going to need to help you some more before. But these are your recipes. And that's pretty much the layout for each week. So each week is structured the same. You have your learn, you have your live sessions, and you have your graded discussion assignments. So you make sure you have your knowledge check-in, your assignment in, and if there's a discussion form that week, like there is on this week, make sure you're doing that as well. Those are huge. Something to note, which I did not mention quite yet, is on this dashboard, we have numerous places, just numerous buttons really. So if you look at this little message guy, this is what we call a Moodle message. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. It's just what they call it. So this is where you can message people. You can message people in your class. You can message your chef. So where it says send message, I'm just going to click it. That brings up our whole entire, this brings up the Moodle message. And you can ask your chef a question or why did I do this? Or can you reopen this? This is a great, fast, easy way to contact your chef is this message form. It's almost like a text within the platform itself. Your alerts, this will tell you if you have an assignment submitted, when it's graded. I think there's way more, but I don't get any of them, so I'm not sure what else, but it tells you a bunch going on here. Oh, fun fact, I just learned this actually right before this. If you want to have some of these notifications on or off, your notification preference is what I just clicked, this little gear guy in the alert. And this is where you can have them turned on or off. So if you want your assignment feedback, if you want your form feedback, you can have all these on. If you don't care about something, you can turn it off. These are just a bunch of just different settings that you can customize and tailor to you and however you want it. If you want your emails off or your mobiles on, that is a great place to go. Let's see, what's this check mark do? I haven't clicked that yet. Nothing happened. All right. Let's jump back to that CU 101. And yeah, I mean, basically instructor announcements, this is huge. That's where they'll tell you anything they need you to know. 2 unread posts. So now I'm just going off. Anyway, again, you can use over on the left side to jump back through that dashboard to get into your week, your lesson, each specific lesson plan. I'm going back to it. Next activity. This will show you breakdown of everything you need to watch, read, learn, all that good stuff. Let's see, what else have I not showed you? I feel like that is a lot of it. I went through pretty quickly in that sense. Huge thing, grades. Grades are big. Your success coach will be listed here as well. They're a great person to contact if you are ever having any problems, like personal problems, you know, death in the family, you lost your job, you can't pay for food, for ingredients, any issue that you're coming up with, they are here to help you with those type of things, life event type things. Let's see, what else? Live sessions for backgrounds. If you have not clicked on this yet, these are really fun. You can see my background. These are just ways to basically hide whatever's behind you. So when you're in class, the world or your class is not seeing what room you're in or who else is in your background is the gist. You have no idea how messy the room is that I'm in right now. And that's for a reason. But let's see. I think I'm kind of through. I can't think of anything else I really wanted to cover dashboard wise. So I'm going to stop it real quick. Kiva, you had a question. Now I see your hands raised. What's up?
Yes, ma'am. I've tried to use the background because as you can see, I have a house full, but my computer asks me every time I try to use it, do I have a green screen? So I'm getting the thought process that if my computer doesn't support background, that I absolutely need a green screen so that I can use my background. I tried to use it on my partner's computer and I tried to use it on my HP computer, and both times it wouldn't allow me to pull the background up without a green screen.
Interesting.
It
What
blur
kind?
me out with the background. On his
Yeah.
computer, I can, let's see, I can pull the background up on his computer, but when I do it, I kind of fade into the background. So I didn't want to use it. It was like, I'm going to be fading in class. And I don't want to know what's going on with that girl. So I can't even. These are like video filters.
Interesting. So I'm curious because I have, oh, that's a fun one. I have one, I have two different laptops. My other laptop is the exact same brand as this laptop I'm on, but that one does not allow me to do backgrounds. And I've not yet figured that out yet. But what I can do real quick, just to show you how to do it. I mean, I saw you kind of messing with it. I'm going to share my screen with you. I think you should be able to see everything. And I'm going to pull up your Zoom app on your actual computer. And when you pull up this Zoom app on your computer or your desktop, and again, I honestly am not sure if this works on Chrome. I will look into that. If you click this little gear thing in the right, top right, this is where you'll find just all your settings really, but you can go to backgrounds and filters. And like, this is where you can change it. So I can be on the beach if you want to, or my Escoffier background like I should be having up, but these are way more fun. I'd rather have Northern Lights. But anyway, that's basically how you change it. And it just automatically uploads it to your background. Now, if that doesn't work, I honestly don't know how to help you, and I haven't figured it out on my other laptop. But if you haven't figured that part out, at least you know that. But let's see what else we can do. Yeah, I've done it on my phone, definitely, Stephen. I've done it on my phone where I've gotten the background before, but I have to set it differently from my phone on Zoom, from my computer on Zoom. So I don't know if it's more about your settings, but one more time for the Zoom thing, Laura, is what you're asking, now that I'm looking at the chat.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We have time. I mean, I kind of covered the bulk of the information I want to show you guys today. So I am going to just open up my Zoom app, or I guess it's an app. I don't even know what they used to call them before we had apps on our phone. What did we do without them? So you have your Zoom screen on your computer, and you go to the far right, you see this little gear sign is your settings. So once you go to your settings, you can change everything actually. So mirror my video. Oh, weird. I don't like that. You can flip yourself around. You can, I mean, any setting you can think of. Yeah, any setting you can think of, audio, speaker, share screen. Oh, this is totally what I was looking for earlier. I am so glad I'm showing you this because I needed to learn where that was. Yeah, and so this is basically just where you would have to download these. So let me jump back to, well, I should probably click on one of those. I'm going to jump back to your class page where it says live session backgrounds. And you would have to download one first. So let me click on this guy. I'm going to save image, Bakery Cafe. So you definitely have to have that image downloaded before you can have it come up on your Zoom call. It doesn't just automatically appear, unfortunately. So you go to your backgrounds and filters. You'd hit this little plus sign, add image or video. I'm going to add an image. And I'm going to find, I don't know what I just saved it under. Cafe, Bakery Cafe. And now I'm in a Bakery Cafe. I like that one. I'm gonna leave that one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So you have to definitely save the image first, like download the image, save it to your computer. And then in the Zoom app itself, you go to settings, backgrounds and filters, hit the plus sign, add image, and then you just snag it from where you just downloaded it on your laptop or your desktop or your phone. When I was doing this exact same thing on my phone, when I was scrambling last week, that's a different story. I actually went to the same exact page, like on that desktop on your Escoffier homepage to get to these backgrounds. And I just screenshotted it actually on my background and did the same thing where I changed the background, but it has to be a picture on your phone for it to download or for it to upload for your background. Did that help, Laura, or anyone else who was asking questions with it? I really like this cafe bakery. It's gonna make me hungry. Like there's bread behind me, but there's not. It's a whole different thing. But yeah, anyone have any questions, whether it be about, your dashboard, getting your assignment submitted, whatever you're struggling with class this week, any questions? I mean, I can definitely open the floor up to you guys. The floor is yours. Don't be shy, or throw it in the chat if you are shy.
Got a question for you there.
Yeah, what's up?
Any best practices as far as timing goes, as far as your week preparing?
Yes, thank you. That is actually the other point I wanted to talk about, and I totally forgot it. So great reminder. The biggest, and I cannot stress this enough, when you're doing an online school, whether that be Escoffier or in the future or ever, or helping your kids who may be online learning right now, is time management. Is do not procrastinate. Your assignments are due Tuesday at midnight. Do not wait till Tuesday to do your assignment. That's just insanity. Don't do that. And by all means, try not to do that. So what I would do is set up, and every person is gonna be different. So I don't want to tell you have to do XYZ, because every one of us here has either a job, kids, life, obligations. You have to be somewhere at some time at some point. Maybe most of us. Yeah, I can definitely see. That's funny. Kiva's background. Anyway, is just plan your week out. Your class starts on Wednesday. The week starts on Wednesday. What I would personally do, maybe get your grocery shopping in on that Tuesday or Wednesday for the coming week. Plan out when you're going to do your assignments, like when you're going to be in the kitchen cooking, and schedule it like it's a meeting or a Zoom call, or I don't know what jobs you all are doing right now for your real life, but schedule it as if it's an important meeting or a doctor's appointment, or maybe your kids' conferences, something you're not going to miss. Put it on your schedule, put it on your calendar. If you're going to use a calendar, I guess that's a big step. Have a calendar, number one. Whether that be, I'm old school. I really like a planner, like a written down planner. That really helps me. You can use the calendar on here. Google has a calendar feature, which is great as well. If you're in the tech stuff.
Your phone with an alarm.
Yeah. But seriously, schedule your blocks. So if you have 4 things to make, schedule that time you're going to go to the grocery store to get it. Schedule that time where you're going to watch those videos to learn how to do it. Schedule that time to make your stuff. If you think it's going to take you 4 hours in the kitchen, schedule 5, because we all know how that goes. And schedule time to go back and do your narratives. What I personally, actually, another great example and tip, when you're cooking, whether you're in pastry or culinary, while you're making your assignments and you're doing them in the kitchen, you're taking your pictures throughout, jot down some notes, not in the narrative, not anything formal, just on a notebook, piece of paper, scrap paper, whatever. Just jot down some notes of how you're feeling about each step, or well, that was stupid, don't do that again. The simplest things, and then you'll be able to go back and look at it when you are filling out your narratives or your production notes, and see what you were thinking, what you were doing as you were doing them. Because I know even if I go back the next day and try to fill something out from what I did the previous day, I'm what was I doing? What step was I struggling with? And you forget. I mean, the way our brains work and the way society's trained our brains to work, we are such a fast-paced culture now. that you're going to forget if you're going to wait to do it till later. So write down some notes as you're doing it, be able to go back and look at them. I would honestly try to have everything made by maybe Friday or Saturday at the latest. Having all your assignments made by Friday, Saturday at the latest, depending on your work schedule and life, because that's just not going to work for everyone. Making sure you have your narratives, your knowledge check done by Sunday, and everything uploaded into your Google Drive by Sunday night. And that way, if you're doing it wrong, if you're struggling, you still have time to either, book a session with a tutor or to work on it your own. Tech issues suck. It doesn't always go the way we all plan. Sometimes you struggle with things. Sometimes an assignment takes you longer than you plan. Sometimes that knowledge check, if you bomb it and you fail, you might need to go back and reread the material again. So you want to make sure you're leaving yourself enough time to be able to do these things. And basically, you already have your grocery list and your shopping list ahead of you. So let's say you finish Sunday, you can get into your class and you can start reading your material for the next week. You can go grocery shopping that Monday or Tuesday to get your stuff you need for the coming week. So that way you're prepared going into the next week if you're done early. And if you have some issues and you struggle, then you can actually have that time and you're not like, oh, it's past due or it's midnight on Tuesday or 11 p.m. on Tuesday and I just clicked the wrong button and erased it all. Now I'm panicking, because that is definitely something, like if you can't tell, I've been there. It is no fun and no one likes it. And I mean, it's easier said than done. It's easier to say don't procrastinate, but make a plan to not procrastinate is the first step in not procrastinating, not just hoping and praying that it won't happen. I hope that answered your question somewhat, Stephen. Awesome. Any other questions? I mean, I could go off on things not to do. Definitely took me a few tries at college to get there, so no worries. Yeah, I mean, I can't stress that enough. Another thing, and you guys are not there yet, read the questions. With those knowledge checks, it's so easy to get something wrong just because you're going fast. When you're in recipes too, I mean, without getting too much in the weeds or going through all that, reread your recipes. Make sure you understand each exact step. Make sure you know how much quantity of each thing you are doing. Make sure you have each thing set out and you know what each thing is. Because I don't know if you've ever done this mistake before, but if you've ever accidentally used salt instead of sugar in something, you can tell really fast. And it's awful. And that is just such a silly, common mistake that if you just took a deep breath and slowed down, you could avoid completely. So, I mean, that is just a lesson I think all of us need in life, not just schooling. Take a deep breath. We can do it. Just go a little slower. Maybe it's just my brain because I'm just like all the time, like ADD, like, gotta get it done. And then I freak out. And then I do something wrong or I do silly mistakes or things like that. And then the world's ending slowly because I went too fast. I think we've all been there. But anyway, that's a whole tangent. Anyone have any other questions, whether it being, ways to set up your week, things that you need to improve on, areas you're struggling with, anything at all? Kiva?
Okay, so you mentioned the knowledge check. I usually do the knowledge check before I read, just to see what on there I know. I let that be my first attempt, and then my second attempt is I do an auto read. I have a hard problem with reading and comprehension.
Yeah, the talk to text thing. Yeah.
I learned that in college, and it doesn't matter how much time is right after I've read something, I still struggle giving that summary through the questions or through the free write, as we used to say in class, where you have to write out the answer to the questions that they're asking you to based upon what you got out of the story. I wanted to know if there was any type of assistance for problems with comprehension. Because that's ultimately what becomes my problem with the knowledge check is, do you comprehend what you read, and can you remember that to assist you in testing? And I also suffer from test anxiety. So I've tried to find ways around not panicking or freaking out, that my anxiety gets the best of me when I'm testing, by taking the test first, seeing what questions are there, seeing what I know off the top of my head or what I may be guessing on. So the first time I took it, I got like a 53. And then I started the reading. I haven't took it a second time because the anxiety is kind of scaring me, that I may not pass the second time, even though I've already read it.
So what I would tell you, and I am there with you with the reading comprehension stuff myself. And I really like the talk to, or the read to talking thing where it reads it to you, because then I can just comprehend it better when I hear it versus when I'm seeing it. So keep doing that if it works for you, for sure. I would honestly say what I would do if I was in this program right now, and I'm in the same boat as you are with that, I would have 2 different tabs open, one with my textbook, one with my quiz. And I would honestly, because you can use it, it's open book. I mean, it is open everything, and it is not timed. So you can scour the entire like reading material for that answer. Even if you know it and you think you know it, go back and look. I mean, it should be right there for you. Maybe not right there, but somewhere in there. And because it's not timed, just plan your day accordingly. Like if it's going to take you 2 hours for 10 questions because you're going to go back in that textbook to find that answer, then it takes you 2 hours and you just plan for 2 hours. And that's okay. It's not a race, as long, I mean, 100% is 100%, regardless if it took you 5 minutes or 5 hours. It's still 100%. So I would do that. I am definitely big into, if it's asking about this, find where it's talking about that in the section, in the book, and kind of finding that area. And more than likely, and honestly, based on what I know from your chef instructors, it's probably going to be written word for word, the exact same thing that you need to find in there. So, I mean, that, I don't know if that helps any, or if you've been doing that, but I would try that and see if it helps.
I've actually kind of been using like context clues. Like when I took the quiz the first time and I read something that wasn't familiar, I seen the same question and it looked like it was just worded differently. And it actually helped me answer the question that I seen before it, so that I could, have an answer in common, or at least get the context clues of what it is it was asking me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and again, just slowing down. I know I tend to read things really fast and I'm like, oh, I got it. And then I answer it and I'm like, oh, well, it says right there, if I would have read it, then I would have probably got it right. But because I was all in a hurry, I didn't get it right because, yeah. And it's like this snowball effect, like you said, with the anxiety kind of attacking you, and then you panic more. So if that happens, somebody taught me this recently, and it really helps me in my panic anxiety brain, is that if you feel that way and you start feeling that feeling, stand up, literally stand up out of your desk, stand up wherever you're at, and take like 5 big belly breaths. I know this sounds weird. This has nothing to do with school. 5 big belly breaths, like do it 5 times, sit back down in front of your laptop, then read the question again. For whatever reason, this belly breathing thing is supposed to calm your nerves. And I think it just clears your head. And I think the standing up means like, I'm going to back away. I'm not standing up because I'm in my PJ pants, but, but you know what I mean? So you're kind of stepping away from the situation. Take some deep breaths. It's okay. We got this. And then jump back in, read the question, see what it's doing. See what it's asking you. That's a huge one. And they don't try to trick you, but especially as you guys start diving into some more culinary math side and kitchen conversion stuff, it can get a little bit overwhelming. And just reading that question fully and knowing what is it asking of you will make it much easier to answer.
Yeah.
Peggy, do you have a question?
Actually, I have a comment because I had the same problem with the comprehension. I do
Yeah.
I have the read assistant, and you can adjust the speed so it's to your liking. And then with the knowledge check, the first time I go through it, I will write out the question.
Yeah,
So then I remember the question, and then I will write the answer in sentence form, and then I'll remember it, the next time I see it, even if it's written in a different form. So
that's a great idea. And I know I'm that way with stuff. If I write it, I remember it much better. So even like going through your textbook, like if you saw my notes in school when I was in school, it looked like I was trying to rewrite their textbook, I swear.
all right. Yep.
Which is a lot of unnecessary info, but it helped me remember. So, I mean, whatever trick that, helps you, for me, like the listening to it and writing it down was a big winner for me. So if that's one that helps you, do that. Flashcards are great too.
Yeah.
Highlighting, I love highlighting things. So even if it's online, you can kind of highlight and pinpoint what you think is important is always good too. Highlighting's great. What else are some things? Oh, that I wanted to mention. You can slow down the reading of the reader, and depending on which one you're using, I've used some where you can change the accent of whoever's talking to you, which is just really fun to, hear a British man telling you your textbook, or whatever. So whatever makes it more interesting or makes you have more fun with it. I mean, it's your learning, it's your school. So do whatever you need to make it sense for you, and you'll have more fun with it, and it'll all make sense and become full circle. That's a great tip. Anything else? Any comments, questions? Anyone else have any areas they're struggling with? Any other last minute tips that they want to throw out there? That was a great one, Peggy, though. Thank you for that.
And as far as the math, there's a lot of formulas. Write out the formulas and memorize them, because then when that problem comes, you know it. Yeah.
Definitely. Memorizing, and then if you don't have it yet, you will need it in the near future. Those kitchen conversions, like 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon, 16 cups equals 1 gallon. Have that written down in front of you, because you're going to use that for the next year of your life. At some point, you will have it memorized, and maybe that's sooner than later, but either way, it's good to have it in front of you. And this school, you can use all the resources. You can use Google. I mean, if you really can't think of the answer, type that bad boy in Google. Maybe Google knows. I mean, every resource you have, use to your advantage. I mean, there's no point of not using your calculator, Google, those reading materials for the natural readers, talk to text, anything you can think of like that. If it helps, use it. And if you don't know if it helps, try it out. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe it's weird and you're like, well, why would I like that? Try it out for a day. See if you like it. But that's pretty much all I had for you guys. I just kind of wanted to cover some general basis and, dashboard stuff. But please reach out to myself or Lindsay or any other instructor, tutors here. If you need extra help, we are definitely here for you.
Can I ask you, I'm sorry, I know it's kind of crazy for me, but can I ask a question about the flavor wheel?
Yeah.
So I did rice pilaf this week and the beans. So whenever I was looking at the flavor wheel, especially in the rice pilaf, whenever I taste it, I taste buttery flavor, because I feel the butter kind of enhance and makes the flavor, the rice make like that involvement flavor. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But whenever I go to the flavor wheel, there's not an option to put buttery. So I put salty. I don't know if that's correct. Whenever it's like buttery flavor.
So you can say buttery, actually. So the flavor wheel for your narrative is really just a suggestion, gives you options, gives you a basis to start off from if you're struggling with describing your flavor. If you have flavors like you're saying buttery and it's not on there, you can still list it. You can list whatever you want, whatever you think it tastes like, you can list and you can type in.
Oh, okay.
So, and
I
actually
thought that we had to attach to the flavor wheel.
no, that flavor wheel is just there for people who are struggling, because I struggle with it. I can't describe flavors. I'm like,
I
oh,
know,
it
I
tastes
do
good.
too. I'm like,
It's good.
yeah,
What do you
for
want?
me it was like, but at that point I was like, but it tastes to me buttery, but it doesn't say it there, so I don't know what to do. I guess I'm gonna put salty.
Yeah, no, you could
But it was
definitely
like
put
that
buttery.
type of salt.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Thank you. That was
yeah.
my question.
Yeah, definitely. That's just kind of a suggestion, but you can go off of it. You can go off of it. Honestly, the more in depth you can get with just your flavors and your answers for those narratives, the better. I mean, they want to really see, and the best way to think of those narratives is a learning tool. So as much as they will become a pain of your existence going forward, because you have to fill them out every week, think of them as a way to learn. So next time you go to make that rice pilaf, whether it be in 3 months, 3 years from now, you can go back to that narrative and see what you did that you liked, see what you did that you didn't like, see what you would do differently, see what flavors it tasted like, and you can use that the next time you make it. So going forward in the future, you can use everything you filled out about that experience to learn going forward and what you would change and adjust. So, I mean, they're
Perfect.
great. Yeah, they're a great tool. I mean, just for you guys as chefs in general to use to get your knowledge for sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, thank you. I mean, anyone else have any questions? Thanks for joining, and I guess I will see some of you hopefully next week for our last session of this workshop. But thank you and have a great night. I can't believe I didn't make you a host until just now. I just saw that. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I was like, I was messaging Isabel, like private messaging, like, hey, you're not on mute. And she was
I'm so
not.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's totally okay. Oh my goodness.